How many of you have ever heard a speech open with contest chair, fellow Toastmasters, most welcome guests? Not all the welcome guests, just most of them. You heard something like that? Now the idea is that if you don't say it in the contest, you're going to get marked for it. Now, did anyone see anything on the card that might indicate a reason for marking someone down if they don't say this?
No. You can't penalize someone for that.
So as a judge, if you're out on Facebook, you're out on LinkedIn, and someone says, oh yeah, if they don't say contest chair, fellow Toastmasters, I mark them down. You say, yeah, that's a good idea. I think I'll start doing that. Or do you read the ballot yourself and you go, that's a load of bunkum.
You never penalize someone.
I've seen contests where the contest chair introduces the person, the contestant goes up onto the stage, the contest chair stands over on the side until the contestant says, the contest chair. I can't find it in the procedure anywhere, and I've looked. I don't know why people do it. There was one time in our district I noticed that the contest chair was doing it, so I wanted to play with him. I was going to let him stand up there for a while and turn and say contest chair. And then he'd sat down already. And he didn't stand up. And I say, now sit down. Anyway, so as a judge, when someone says contest chair, fellow Toastmasters, most welcome guests, would you list that as immediately engaging the audience?
No, absolutely not.
I list that under immediately boring the audience. I don't see that on the scorecard either. So that's my opinion, and you can do whatever you like. Francine, another question about physical.
Okay, I've seen I've heard people talking about how the person looks like, how the person is dressed on the stage. And I've heard that some people really bring them really low if they are like they are not in a suit, or like especially for the humorists, like they would put the costume on and then they would take it off and the suit is under. That I've seen. But this is, I mean, there are points there, and I'd like you to specify about that.
Okay, we have 10 points total for appearance, body language, and speaking area. I actually don't see anything in there about dress other than the bit about physical presentation, each carries a responsibility, and the phrase, the speaker's appearance.
Yes, this is it. This is what I want you to tell us.
Reinforce the speech. And then the sentence continues after a comma, whether profound, sad, humorous, or instructional. And I guess that those words refer to the speech. I'm unclear whether it refers to the speech or to the reinforcement.
Yeah, they refer to the appearance itself, or because they say the speaker's appearance should reinforce the speech.
So is it the appearance that is profound, sad, humorous, or instructional? Now I try to maintain an instructional appearance as often as I can during this workshop. How am I doing? So I'm not sure that instructional applies to the appearance.
They don't have props also.
Could, yes.
Yes.
I don't see any other place other than physical to possibly put props. And we could talk momentarily about that if you'd like. So let's go back to Francine's question and finish with that. As a judge, you need to weigh and ask yourself, is my weighting a personal bias?
Well, it's because I've heard others talking to me. If the costume goes with the speech, it's a plus.
I've seen some that worked very, very
But
well.
some really bring them low if they don't or if they are not in a suit or whatsoever.
Yeah,
or-
not in a suit.
Jeans are called.
Or jeans, for instance. or-
Because that's not your norm, or those person's norms, right? And it's not their preference.
But over here, what does TI? what
See
does
where
it
I'm
do?
personally getting at this?
That's not, that shouldn't be judged on.
Well, because of that one.
For me and my judging, I don't personally judge on that stuff. But what if I got down to a tie
Yeah.
and I'm looking through all the stuff and everything else was okay, and that was the only thing left? I might give the one that the community might call better dressed. Put it over the top for a win.
Yes, it's,
Maybe protest. So we can't spend a whole lot of time at that, but I would say that's a personal judgment, and you need to weigh it and be satisfied with your weighing. Did it affect the communication? Did it affect the response from the audience? What happened in there? Could it have been enhanced had the person been wearing it? So maybe it would detract from the message. What if they were talking about poverty or something? Yeah, and they got one of those shiny suits. You have to weigh it. There's so many variables, it's hard to weigh.
Sorry, just in the code of conduct, which is on the back of the form at the bottom, the third point is about rules and regulations. So in the rules and regulations, it tells you what's acceptable and what's not. I think the tendency is, I've heard these people, they tend to insert their own rules that a speaker must do this or must not do this, and you have to be careful.
Rules?
If the official rules from Toastmasters
Okay.
say that you have to dress a certain way or
no, I see so.
don't insert your own, as Greg said, if it's part of the speech or some other message, that's one thing, but it's not a rule that you must, don't insert your own rules.
Does everyone agree with me when I say, for the word phrase contest rules, insert contest rule book for that year? Capital R, the rule book. When it says contest rules, I interpret that to mean the rule book and nothing else. Not the training program or anything else, the rule book. That's that there. I'm not sure exactly what judging standards means, other than what's conveyed in the training materials and the materials that they publish. What are standards with a small s? Other than the training materials, I'm not sure. I strive not to make up my own standard. And if I do, it's always tested and weighted against, did it work?
Well,
I'm always open to the idea that my ideas are incorrect. Should contestants use props? Right. Test is, was it effective? Did it add to it? Did it add clarity? Was it done smoothly, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera? Without the prop, would the speech have been lesser? And if you come up with a yes, the prop helped. It communicated, conveyed, they did something with it. It was, how many of you saw J.A. Gamash's speech, Learning to Fly?
Yeah.
And at the very end, he takes out the butterfly tissue paper for butterflies. He does this with a fan. That was, I think I started crying that day. The day he did that in the contest, it was just perfect, the way it all went. And that's an example for me of the prop working very well. And without that prop, it would have been lesser. Because everyone in the audience went. Next, we have two speeches, once again, so you need your humorous contest ballot ready. Trying to get mine ready, and we'll see how this goes. As I said, last time it went pretty well.
Our next contestant, Brooke Grubb, Crazy in Love. Crazy in Love, Brooke Grubb.
insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. That's according to Albert Einstein. He was a genius because he perfectly described my love life. You see, I couldn't keep a man. My method was always the same. Find any guy willing to pay for dinner and act like I care. My dates always ended the same. I'd gaze into his eyes and yearn for the next time I would see my therapist. I had to make smart changes to end the insanity. Mr. Contest Master, fellow Toastmasters, and those of us looking to improve any part of our lives, my story will inspire you. One evening, I was watching TV with my 9-year-old, Brandon. An ad came on for the dating website eHarmony. Brandon said, "Mom, you should do that." "Why?" "Nothing else is working." "This time, make sure the guy has money. I need an iPad too." eHarmony, wasn't that for desperate people? I took a good look at myself and saw that I'm 40, competing against women half my age. Just getting ready for a date requires exfoliators, mud mask, anti-wrinkle cream, moisturizer, foundation, makeup, crest whitening strips, duct tape, and Vaseline. The last two are for getting in my clothes. With online dating, I could use Photoshop. Even better, eHarmony would find lots of men for me. I could stop chasing men at singles bars, mixers, and Taco Bell. While eHarmony would do most of the work, I vowed to do my part. Thankfully, the website offered great advice, including 3 changes I could make to stop the insanity. Insanity stopper number 1, raise my standards. I wrote a list of what I expect in a man from now on. My list is short but strict. First, my man must floss. If he has teeth. Second, most important, he cannot be a Toastmaster. Toastmasters men always have an agenda. Insanity stopper number 2, find a man I can fall deeply in love with. In the past, I settled for men I liked just enough to sue for alimony. Finding this love meant going back on dates. My first date was with a triathlete brain surgeon. Could he be my love? During dinner, he shared heartwarming stories of his volunteer work at a homeless shelter. He didn't say any ums, uhs, likes, or you knows. He was a closet Toastmaster. I went on dates with other men. Finally, I found the one. This man, Chuck, was once a model. Prisoner. When he described his bank robbery in a clown suit, ums and uhs were everywhere. And he flossed. All I needed now was insanity stopper number 3. Prepare for a lifelong commitment. Or at least long enough to get Brandon's iPad. I was devoted to Chuck, but then I discovered his shady side. Sometimes he would disappear and refuse to tell me where he went. Finally, I found evidence in his coat pocket. Index cards outlining his robberies while dressed in varied costumes. He came clean. It was his icebreaker. I chucked Chuck and renewed my search for my perfect, flossing non-Toastmaster. Some of my girlfriends say, Brooke, you're smart to change your approach, but your approach is crazy. Hello? You have to date a few felons to get to your codependent alcoholic adulterer. Also, for the record, Brandon did get his iPad. While we were dating, Chuck went to the Apple store dressed as Snow White. You see, fairy tales do come true. The moral of the story? Conquer your challenges by changing your approach. Of course, check your results and continue to tweak your strategy as needed. Who knows, I might revise my criteria for men. Follow my lead and you will end the insanity. Then again, what's insane and what's not? Einstein would say, it's all relative.
Alex Wu, Flushing to Enlightenment. Alex Wu, Flushing to Enlightenment.
It was a Saturday morning. I had just finished brushing my teeth, and I was rinsing with Listerine as usual. But as I reached over to screw the Listerine cup back onto the bottle, disaster struck. My hand slipped. The cup ricocheted off the counter and disappeared into the toilet bowl. I peered over. There was the Listerine cup, bobbing up and down in the water. I was in a devil of a spot. What was I supposed to do? Should I make a rescue attempt? Would I ever use that cup again? On the other hand, Listerine does kill 99.9% of all germs. So I went to the kitchen and returned with one of the last bags Loblaws gave away for free. I wore the bag over my hand as though getting ready to pick up after a dog. And reaching forward into the toilet bowl, I knew that no matter what I planned to do with that cup, I had to retrieve it. Or did I? I did a quick double take and pressed the flush lever. The cup swirled round and round, and as the water in the bowl emptied, the cup slipped through the drain like a fish. At this point, I thought I was a brilliant problem solver. And then the water level started rising and rising. Up and up and up the water went, but down it wouldn't go. I was pooched. In my head, I scrolled through my list of options. I could call a plumber, but that would make me feel like even more of an idiot. So an hour later, I returned from Costco with a package of 8 plungers. And I got straight to work. But as the minutes on the clock ticked by, I'd made no progress. The toilet still wouldn't flush. I sat down on my couch feeling dejected. I could feel myself sinking deeper and deeper into a bottomless pit of anger and frustration, and just when it seemed like things couldn't get any worse, I made my smartest decision all week. I decided to put on some motivational audio tapes. In my closet, there's a huge collection of motivational tapes. I had everything from saving your relationship, too late for that one, to overcoming procrastination.
Let's go look at our scorecard. We had 2 speakers, speaker number 1, number 2. I forget the first person's name. What is it?
No.
Yeah, you missed that.
Alex is the second person. The first criteria, speech development. Did anyone see a difference between the 2 speakers? Big difference. The first speaker, in terms of speech structure, you say well-structured. Yes. The second speaker did what? Storytelling. Began with the beginning. There was no thing called an opening at all, although it did certainly grab the attention of people, but the whole thing was a story. Motivational man was part of the story, right? But it was nice to have that second character going along, which was nice, but separating it from structure that had nothing to do with the structure itself. So I gave 13 to speaker number 1, and I was probably generous in giving 11 to speaker number 2. Would you agree that 11 was generous?
Yeah.
Okay. And so what were your scores for speaker number 1? Yell it out.
12.
12? Lots of 12? 12? Okay. I'm very generous. Okay, I gave them a 13. So anyone give a 14 or an 11 or 10? 14. 14? 14? 14? Okay. So we're all within range. And speaker number 2, 11? 10. 10?
9.
9? How far do we go? 8? 7? 6? Yeah, I felt I was generous. You know, the 8 might have been the accurate one. So you can see quite a range there, and that for the contestant, that range could have been avoided had he structured it to look like a speech. So that might do it for him. Okay, effectiveness, achievement of purpose, interest, reception. It seemed for me that speaker number 2, the audience was in silence more. Okay.
But they laughed.
But is that silence because they're disinterested or because they are interested?
Or when he did get them laughed, they laughed louder than.
Yes. Yes. So we need to weigh those differences, balance each other. We're adding here, we're taking away there. So I wound up giving them both 8s. Any 9s? Any 10s? Inviting you to my Christmas party. Any 7s down there?
Yeah, we did.
6s? Okay. Didn't like those speeches. Okay. 5s? Okay. So 6s was almost halfway there. So so for me, that was 80%. To get 100, the audience would be even more hanging and with the person. Because this is on effectiveness and in part measured by the reception. Did you notice that speaker number 1 more often looked over the audience, disregarded them, and stomped on her lines where Alex waited for the responses? A lot more. So maybe I should have given him more in that area, maybe 1, even more. Speech value, ideas, logic, original thought. Value and original thought. Okay, value. Value in the first one was what? What was the thesis?
Finding a man.
Stopping insanity, more specific and practical terms.
Trying to
Change
Less-
your ways.
Less
Try to
practical.
change your ways. Try, if something doesn't work, change the method.
That's it. Now, it's interesting that we got different responses to that question, which tells me that the speaker wasn't clear enough. Now, that could have been a volume thing. I'm not sure. It's possible. I think that maybe not. There could have been other characteristics that caused you to have different answers to what should have been a fairly binary question. So, ideas, logic, original thought. In some of the logic for me, I had trouble following her sometimes in the logic when she got into the three items, then the sub three of the first three. I had trouble following, and then I was taking notes to try to follow the structure, and I lost point number two. So I gave, for speaker number one, I gave a 12. Was I generous?
Yes.
But as long as I'm consistently generous about all the speakers and weighing things, it should work out. Yeah.
When you talk about logic, and you said you had a bit of a difficult time following her, I did too.
Yeah.
But I weighed her lower on the organization of it, kind of confusing.
Okay.
So then I gave her a lower mark on the structure and organization. Whereas with the storytelling of Othello and paralleling the motivational speaker, along with bringing in the idea of his mother and then finishing up with that, I found it better organized for me.
Is that under logic or under or?
Well, when you were talking about to be following it, that's the logic from that, there's the logical progression maybe, and you brought that into your comments about that.
Of course, there would be an unsatisfying link between structure and substructures and logic. Because it is structured well, it's difficult to follow logically. So, what did you
You
give?
gave her 12. I
Yeah,
gave her 10.
10? Probably the right answer. Who else? 12, 13, 14, okay, 11, 10, 9, 8. Okay, let's just say that I'm really generous, really often. For speaker number 2, Alex, we're under value here, right? Ideas, logic, original thought. Was I generous in giving a 13? Yes, 13, all right. 14, 15. Okay, and we're going down to 12.
Yeah.
Okay, 11, 12, and 13, a lot in there. 11, okay, 10. So not original. You have toilet problems at home?
Actually, I was following him very closely.
Okay.
I knew the subject matter well.
I've had my fill of unplugging toilets at home. Something I can plunge into. Audience response, attentiveness, laughter, interest, reception. In the interest and reception, she could have achieved a lot more had the whole, that's of course like areas relate to each other. Had she reduced her overall word count, had spent the time letting the audience respond to her. You see the difference in that for Alex and her in the audience, expectation, and following along. So, she had a word count problem that was affecting her in this category a bit. Even so, the audience seemed to like her a lot. They were worthy of the time. It still worked. Still worked. Yeah. So I gave them both 12s. Maybe only half. So, how do we go? 12, 15. Yeah, even 15, eh? So for me, attentiveness, laughter, interest, reception, I know what a 15 is. 15 is people are spitting, they're crying, they're holding their stomach, they're rolling onto the lap of the person next to them. They're out of control, like you guys tonight. That's a 15. Now, you guys are a 15 out of 50, but still a 15. So, for me, they each have different strengths in that area, and the pluses and minuses.
He was losing us.
And I was only half thinking, so we finished that one.
He almost lost us completely.
Who, what?
He almost lost us completely at the beginning.
At the beginning, yeah. And then it built up.
Because he
was too strict, like, it was too hard, maybe too hard.
Too, yes, hard, or his sounds and movements were, I would call it square.
And the way he was pointing at
That could affect the audience response. You know, sometimes in a humorous presentation, that exaggeration can work when the speaker and the audience knows that it's an exaggeration. It doesn't work when it seems like the speaker doesn't know that the speaker is doing this, and that's just how the speaker is speaking. Do you know what I mean?
No.
But if I'm exaggerating something, and I know that it's an exaggeration when I'm doing it, and I know that you know, and we both know, then it seems to work out like a joke between us. But if I'm speaking like this, and I'm really serious about this thing that I'm doing, and it seems to be bad acting, but I don't seem like I know it's bad acting, it doesn't seem to work. We're not in on the same joke. Does that make any sense at all? Okay, so are we done with that one? Audience response, physical. Now that's a body language, speaking area, appearance. I gave her an 8. Okay, there's some things that she was doing. She could have been in a different place, done some things. I noticed a couple of times that her timing was a little bit off, as if she was concentrating on doing that movement. And even so, that audience didn't seem to care a whole lot. After dinner drinks with the story, it could be, because we don't know all the other speakers, that if she was, it's almost a bias, in the middle of a pack, and people are already conditioned to hear these kind of speakers in that audience, maybe it would work out all right.
I think the fact that they went on the same stage didn't help either, because she was in a very tight space, and he had a lot more room to work with.
They worked
That
out a little
affects
more
what we see.
with references to Toastmasters as she went on.
Did you notice that?
She used quite a bit, but it wasn't as warm initially. But as she continued to use the Toastmaster references, they were laughing like crazy.
Remember the criteria when we say appropriate for the audience?
Yeah.
Hers was an example of how to nail it for the Toastmasters audience. You talk about Toastmasters stuff. And if they don't see it coming, they were all the agenda killed, didn't it? Yeah.
I couldn't help thinking that speaker one is like a stand-up comedian, so many actions. The second one, it's more like a speech. Also has some appropriate numbers of laughter.
Okay.
It's not like a performance, more like a speech.
Alex. Alex for you was more like a speech.
Yeah.
She
The
wasn't.
first one was too much.
Okay. Any responses that are the same? Is that different?
Can I ask a question? Can we,
No. Yes, you
I
can.
find that sometimes the speech sounds very mechanical in the sense that it's point one, body, conclusion, and ending. Whereas the second guy, he related his story, but you don't get caught up in the nitty-gritty, like the mechanics of the speech. I find maybe his style was probably not the best. But the first girl, the girl too, I find that you notice that too much. So is there a way to, when we judge, should we judge on the flow of the, because I don't want to notice that it's the intro,
Okay.
body, and.
So, in that case, overly mechanical structure so that it became obvious and super noticeable for you. The answer is, as a judge, you have to weigh that. And my weight is the question, is it working? And I agree, she was overly mechanical in the presentation of the structure, yet she had a structure. So according to the scorecard, she's going to have points up on the structure, and she's probably going to lose in some other areas, where Alex will gain in those areas. Now those two might cancel each other out, as it turns out. Is that helpful? So yes, consider it, weigh it, did it work, and what effect did it have? And then take your best guess within the minute that you have. We are on physical. Did we finish that?
How much did you give to?
We talked about it. I gave her an 8 and him a 9. I was probably 1 mark too generous for each of them. So did we get it for her? Did we get an 8? Yeah. 8s, 9s, 10s, definitely not a 10. That's a physical. 7s, 6. Oh, so we're there, okay. And him, I gave a 9. Did we get a 10? Yeah, not quite smooth enough for a 10 for me. Pretty close. No, it was bad, pretty close. But I know what a 10 is. It wasn't quite there. I rarely give a 10 for full marks for anything, only because I know what's out there. So I'm measuring against that. 8s for Alex. Did I already ask this? 7s? Okay. And why 7?
His toilet was in 3 different spots.
Excellent! Excellent!
His one was here and
excellent!
His escape wasn't as good as hers.
Excellent! And in this case, I actually missed it. Normally I pick up on it. In this case, good catch. In my view,
And her, she kept going the same way for whatever she was
in my view, the physical space, once you place an item, unless you move it, it has to stay there. Excellent, because he would have water everywhere. Toilets,
and her, she was going to the same direction.
His movement of his hands more necessary also.
Physical, yes.
So I found he used the same hand gestures all the time.
Yeah.
And so there was a lot of repetitiveness of this, and I just think he didn't know what else to do with his hands.
And did the repetition work?
It was very distracting.
Not for you. Anyone else? Did it not work?
We didn't like that.
So for me,
Too many.
I interpreted it as he knew he was doing that. I know I'm doing this thing, I'm doing this yoga thing, but I could be wrong.
I think he did it purposely. He certainly looked like he was doing it purposely.
I still didn't like it.
I didn't like it.
So it didn't work for you.
No, I-
So you see that we're getting different responses to it, and that's why we have more than one judge. Voice, for me, how was she?
She was not natural.
Missing a conversationality that could have been there. This is where there's, because she had so many words, I believe I could tell that she knew she had to go through her talk. And so her voice had that sound of, I've rehearsed this a bazillion times and I'm getting through it and that's it. So So it was, for me, unnatural. In spite of it, inauthentic, and in spite of that, there was still a range. There were certain places that she did things and so on that were okay. And I looked at what he was doing, and he had the same sort of stuff. So I gave them both 8s.
So did I.
Oh, geez, you're generous.
I am generous, okay.
Yeah. Plus, sir, there's something that really for me, like she was always going in the same direction, back and forth, and her intonations were not going with. At a certain point, she had something like really youch, you know, but she stayed on the same, like she, you know, when she talked about that doctor thing, you know, the doctor who was a Toastmaster, for instance. You know, she went in that direction, and then there was something not congruent with it. Like
you're right.
It was not totally appropriate, and that I really picked out because it's a
Anyone else?
criteria. For me.
I had the same reaction. For me, it was, I'm acting frustrated, so I'm going to do this.
Yeah, she seemed never getting out of it, so, you know, we stayed in the same insanity instead of trying to find answers through it or solutions through it anyway.
Very good. Okay, 8s for her, and 9s. 9 and a 10. Not happening, I didn't think so. And a 7, and a 6. So there's a lot of 6s in there, right?
Yeah.
So 6 is 1 point above halfway. You're hard. Tough. I'm off your Christmas card list. Now, Alex for voice, I give an 8. 8. 9. 10. Not a 10. 7. Okay, 7 and a 6. 6. 5. 4. 4. Okay. Mannerisms. Directness, assurance, enthusiasm. She showed signs of self-consciousness and disassociation from the audience, and yet, at the same time, she was doing these actions that showed enthusiasm. So we're losing a little bit on the directness. She was looking up over the audience a fair bit, and whereas Alex was, I think, looking at people, even if there was nobody there, he looked like he was looking at people. We don't know. So there's pluses and minuses there. I gave her probably, might be okay, an 8. Did a hold? An 8. Okay, a 9. A 10. Okay, 7. 6. Okay, 6. Okay, toughy. 5s. Woo! Smoking. 4. 5 was halfway there. And what would they have to do to get a 10?
I just found that was a real weak area for her, so I gave her a half.
I heard weak area?
Weak area.
Weak area. Okay, can you be more specific in what way?
Well, you said to look at her lip movements,
Yeah.
and quite often she, made that movement.
Yeah,
and,
yeah.
Yes, you did.
That's really disconnecting herself.
Oh, yeah. My 8 was generous? Probably, yeah. Very good. No, your 5 might have been accurate. There you go. The only one in the room.
But you're consistent, so.
Mannerisms for Alex. I gave a 9. 9s. 10s. 10. 8s. Okay. And 7s. Okay, very good. Language, appropriateness to speech, purpose, and audience. They have different kinds of language, different kinds of metaphors, different kinds of alliterations, and so on. Probably generous. I gave them both a 9. Okay, so a 10. Any 10s? 8s. More 8s. And 7s. Yeah, I was too generous. Very good. Alex, 9. 10, 8, and 7. Okay. For correctness, pronunciation, word selection, grammar, I gave out of 5, I gave her a 4. I actually give her a 4 plus. And Kim, so we get 4s and 5s, and 3s, and 2s. Okay, and for Alex, I give her 4 4s. Must be 4s, 5. Okay, so his ground pronunciation, word selection were perfect. He has some catchy words in there. Eh? Some interesting ones, some twists that were kind of curious. A 3 and a 2. How many had her winning? She said there was 3 men who said she won. There's probably a bias. They're all on eHarmony.